This week on Scary Fascinating, we will dive into the story known by cave divers around the world as the 1973 Mount Gambier accident. On May 26, 1973, John Bockerman, Peter Burr, Christine, Glenn, and Stephen Millette, Larry Reynolds, Gordon Roberts, and Robert Smith arrived at Mount Gambier in South Australia with their eyes set on diving a cave called The Shaft. This sinkhole cave was discovered by chance in 1938 when a group of horses randomly stumbled across a hole just 1 foot across. This hole would later be opened up to 3 feet wide. It is called the shaft since when the sun hits just right, the 3-foot wide opening provides a shaft of sunlight that penetrates deep into the blue water below. The cave still remains famous for its clear water and detailed internal natural structures. The first dive in this cave was around the mid-60s when a local diver took the plunge 69 feet down into the wide lake-like chamber. The main room is about 460 feet wide and 140 feet long. The entrance is about 20 feet below the ground level, thus requiring divers and equipment to be hoisted down into the water. A rock pile is located directly under the cave opening, and 2 tunnels, one of which extends to the northwest and goes 260 feet down, and the other tunnel, to the east, reaches a maximum depth of 407 feet. A day after arriving on the 27th, the group completed a successful dive at the shaft, extending a line around 150 feet to the rock pile. They quickly looked around the pile before coming back up to the surface to prepare for the main day of diving the following day. On May 28th, they arrived at the dive, with full tanks eager to get into the cave. They quickly descended the line they set down to the rock pile. First-hand accounts from Robert Smith, who was the most experienced diver of the group, say that they did not plan to explore beyond the edge of the rock pile. They did not plan to explore either of the tunnels. When going past the rock pile, any experienced diver will tell you that you must prepare special oxygen tanks mixed with calculated gases to ensure that you avoid nitrogen narcosis. If not, you will become almost drunk-like in movements and thinking and can experience extreme confusion, which in many cases lead to drowning and death. Towards the base of the rock pile at 180 feet, Robert Smith began to feel the effects of nitrogen narcosis. As Robert is a knowledgeable diver, he motioned to the group that he was going back to the top of the rock pile. The group signaled that they would continue searching the area. While Robert was circling around the top of the rock pile for the next 10 minutes, Glenn Millette would then return, saying that he was running low on air. Robert and Glenn would then return to the surface to find that Larry Reynolds was already waiting for them. 1 minute later, Peter Burr would surface, with no air left in his tank. Knowing the same was most likely true for the 4 others still under the water, Glenn attached a spare tank of air and went back down to find the others. Arriving at the edge, at around 220 feet under the surface, he would find Stephen Millette's light and camera, but could see no more than 1 foot in front of his dive mask. The whole area was silted out and visibility was at a 0. Glenn would have no chance at finding the others, and went back to the surface to avoid endangering his own life. Now that it was apparent that they were looking for bodies and not survivors, the search began. The following day, police sent in their dive team down to 200 feet, but could not find anyone. Another 7 separate dives and extensive lighting equipment were required to recover the rest of the bodies. The bodies were discovered at varying depths from 50 feet to 195 feet below the surface. It took in total 11 months and 11 days for all the bodies to be recovered from the shaft. On this fateful day, the lives of Stephen and Christine Millette, Gordon Roberts, and John Bockerman were lost. This whole group of divers explored past their own planned and experienced limits, which put them in grave danger. As of March 2022, they are the only known fatalities in the shaft. These deaths were a driving force in the creation of many new safety associations tasked with keeping cave diving safe and regulated in Australia. The first map of the shaft was only made public in 1984, with further additions in the 90s and early 2000s. The cave is considered very safe, with many fixed lines throughout the whole cave. The cave does see many divers every year, and will take bookings at a diver's notice. In conclusion, this story is an important and scary reminder to how dangerous cave diving can be. Rest in peace to those who died.